Yes, lads, welcome back to 90 More. This is the official launch of this channel. So, starting today, on a daily basis, we shall have two shows on a daily basis. Make sure if you have found this channel for the first time, do subscribe. If you found me for the first time, you'll find me on Courses Arsenal podcast on a daily basis. On Courses Arsenal podcast, so that is my second channel. You could search for it on YouTube. Also, link is in the video description. Courses Arsenal podcast. So, how could Manchester United really line up with Jaden Sancho is what I want to focus on in this video, because United, after almost a period of 1.5 years or almost a full year, they have finally signed Jaden Sancho. What a signing! A very, very massive signing for Manchester United. If you are, if you're an Arsenal fan, or a Chelsea fan or a Liverpool fan, you've got to watch out for Manchester United. You've got to watch out for yourselves. I think United getting Jaden Sancho for me means one or two things. One is they have literally completed their midfield, their lineup. Because literally, I think even if they don't get in a central midfielder or a CDM, they're good to go with Jaden Sancho. Even if they do not get Rafa Varane or they don't get a centre back, they can still move like that and still finish in top four. So I think he's been the vital missing part to the chessboard. And with Manchester United getting Jaden Sancho, things are getting a little more interesting than they have been. So United, how could they line up Jaden Sancho, that man that's gonna put on shirt number 7, allegedly put on shirt number 7? We are still waiting for that confirmation as well, but all we can confirm is United have signed Jaden Sancho. Agreement announced by Dortmund, agreement announced by Manchester United. It is official. It is 85 million euros, I think, without add-on. So that is around 75 million pounds. United, congratulations, obviously, on getting the signing done. But let us look on how Manchester United could line up Jaden Sancho. And for me, the most important part of this video is how does Jaden Sancho then impact Manchester United? Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the next one. Let us get the party started. Right, lads, so here we are. United, this is how they've been lining up last season. They've had Shaw, Maguire, Victor Lindelof, Busaker. Well, this is not Leno. So really, really sorry for that. This is not, this is not Leno. This is this should be David De Gea around here, right? So this is David De Gea. As a blunder, wasn't it? So David De Gea, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof, Busaker, Scott McTominay, and Fred have been, playing in that midfield with Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, and Edson Cavani. That is pretty much that has been their starting 11. Now, with the introduction of Jaden Sancho and the introduction of Rafa Varane, I think United will have to change things. For Rafa, with the Rafa Varane deal, that one's still a very difficult one. But all sources indicate that Madrid will not keep the player, and Manchester United have already given him an offer that he cannot turn down. So I think Varane will come into Manchester United's defense to replace Victor Lindelof. I think Jaden Sancho will move straight up into that right wing position to replace Mason Greenwood. Obviously, there are the couple of questions about that. What does it mean for Mason Greenwood, especially for his development? But we can go into that, in another day, probably in when the season starts. So, for me, this has been Mason Greenwood, and with playing Mason Greenwood in this area or Daniel James has been, well, I think they have offered what they have offered. So probably this is Daniel. We could call this. We could name this one Daniel James right here, right? Daniel James. So I think playing Daniel James in this area around here, limits Manchester United so much, but it also provides Manchester United with a lot of space. Because what you have in Daniel James is a very, very fast player with a lot of work rate. So you probably you have Daniel James playing deep, and then as soon as Paul Pogba releases the ball in this area, Daniel James is gonna meet it because he has a very, very terrific speed and a very terrific pace. The problem with Daniel James though is his final product. The end product of Daniel James is not what United need. It's not United quality. So it's either when James gets the ball in this area. So let us bring the football around here. If he gets the ball around this area, you expect two things. One, he's gonna cross it in for Edson Cavani, who I think is a little bit suiting for Daniel James and his kind of play. But basically, the kind of football Manchester United play is not cross and hit it, cross and hope. No, I think if you look at Marcus Rashford, the moment he reaches this area, he's cutting inside. He's cutting inside. Either to find a shot on his left foot or right foot, or probably going inside and trying to lay it very, very easily for Cavani or lay it just outside the box for Bruno Fernandes to meet it. That is how Manchester United have been setting up, and that is how Manchester United want to play, and that is how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants Manchester United to play. Now that is quite different if you have a player like Daniel James who doesn't have that kind of skill set. Of course, it's not a blame. I think Daniel James is a great player, but he doesn't have the skill set to give Manchester United the quality that they get from Marcus Rashford on the other end. So for me, that disqualifies him automatically. On the other end, you've had at times you've had Mason Greenwood. So I'll name this one Greenwood, right? So don't be offended, Manchester United fans. I'm just doing it for a demo. So this is Mason Greenwood. Now with Mason Greenwood, his playing style is very, very different from Daniel James, because James is more of a traditional winger. Greenwood is more of a half striker, half winger. He's more of an inverted winger. And if you look at what Greenwood offers Manchester United, is the ability to make things happen. Whenever he's in this area, he's either going to try to go for goal, and many chances we've seen, many of the goals he's scored as a player have been as a result of taking a risk, trying shots outside the box, or just as soon as he enters the penalty area, he's gonna look for his strong left foot and he's gonna take it. And what you get in Mason Greenwood is he's gonna play on this right hand side of the pitch as an inverted winger, so you don't get many crosses for Edson Cavani. That is a disadvantage now again. And you can bear me witness if you're a Manchester United fan. Whenever Bruno Fernandes has a bad game, Edson Cavani has a bad game as well. And the reason there is all the creativity that feeds Cavani if you have Greenwood is coming from either Marcus Rashford or Bruno Fernandes or Paul Pogba. Now with if you have Jaden Sancho in this area, you have two things. One, you have a natural right winger that's gonna give you all the crosses you need in the world, but you also have a player. You also have a player who's very talented to an extent that is gonna play as an inverted winger, even on his right foot. That is how beautiful Jaden Sancho is. But we'll talk about Jaden Sancho just in a minute. So with Mason Greenwood, what you don't like about him is he cuts off the supply Cavani would get. What you like about Mason Greenwood is his ability to score goals from this area, first and foremost. And the other thing you like about him is his directness. Whenever he gets that ball, he's so direct, he's going for goal. And of course, you have him disturbing a lot of defenses in that, in that regard. So how about Jaden Sancho? Why did Manchester United then need Jaden Sancho if they had Mason Greenwood and Daniel James? First and foremost, I would answer this for Mason Greenwood. I think he's a young player that needs a lot of time to develop. Look, he's been absolutely brilliant for the past 2 seasons, and we have had a very big debate between him and Saka, between him and Martinelli, between him and the likes of Mason Mount, between him and the likes of and the likes of Phil Foden. And I think really the fact that we always put him on the same table as them is just enough to justify the fact that he's good enough. That is it. The fact that you put him on the same table as Mason Mount, who has had a very fantastic, season for Chelsea. The moment you put him on the same table as Phil Foden, who has had a very fantastic season for Manchester City. For me, it communicates the fact that he is good enough. So Greenwood, good enough, but the pressure of the Premier League could actually destroy his career. You've got to give him the time to develop. As a teenager, you've got to give him the time to develop. And think with Jaden Sancho coming in as now the permanent number 7, right? It makes Greenwood the immediate deputy of Jaden Sancho. It's not, in my opinion, it's not Daniel James. The immediate deputy of Jaden Sancho will be Mason Greenwood. So I expect Jaden Sancho, when in terms of squad rotation, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, what he will do is rest Jaden Sancho and play Mason Greenwood. So of course, the advantage Greenwood has is he's playing as an inverted winger right here on this right-hand side of the pitch, but he can also come down through as a left winger because he plays on the left foot, and what that gives him is the ability to go far away, as far as at the end of the pitch, and be able to cross in those balls that we've said he can't cross in this area because he's playing with because he's playing with his left foot and is playing as an inverted winger. So with Jaden Sancho, we've watched a lot of videos, we've read a lot about him, we are excited. Welcome to the Premier League, Jaden Sancho. What can he offer? So the first thing that he offers very, very well is United are so blessed to have Aaron van Busaker, right? Busaker is a very good defender, very, very, actually one of the top class defenders in English football. And it's very, very unlucky that at this point in time, where his career is more of it has taken something like a hype. You have the likes of Greenwood. Sorry, did I say Greenwood? You have the likes of Trippier. You have the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold overshadowing. But I think that doesn't take away the ability and potential of Aaron van Busaker. The problem with Busaker, and I think this is one of the things he has to work on if he's gonna become a regular England national team starter, is his ability to go forward. He is absolutely awful. Now, if you're a Manchester United fan, and I will have a Manchester United fan on the channel and probably discuss United issues, they will tell you that, you know what, Busaker has improved a lot. Busaker is doing well, as compared to the way he came from Crystal Palace, as compared to the Busaker we signed from Crystal Palace. The truth is, Busaker is still bogus when it comes to creating chances, when it comes to involving in play, when it comes to going forward. If you compare his shot creating actions, and you compare him to the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold, the likes of Cesar Azpilicueta, the likes of Reece James, the likes of Kian, the likes of Trippier, he is so behind, very, very behind. The disparity is cannot be bridged by just words. It will take a lot of hard work. I think he's a talented right back. All he has to do is work on his delivery in the final third. So let us look at it in this in this way. So Busaker is good, so good around this area, because one thing I really love about Aaron Busaker is you're gonna find him in this area, in that in that central part of the defense, when either Maguire or Varane or Lindelof is gonna be out. You could also find him clearing the ball around here. So he's very, very good in terms of defense, but he is so awful in this area. And what you need is a person that can take that burden away from Aaron Busaker. And I think Greenwood doesn't do that. I think Daniel James also doesn't do that. So with Busaker now, when you have Jaden Sancho, it is happy days, because what is his role now is to steal possession around this area, right, and then get that ball and move it to So let's get the football. Get this ball and move it to Jaden Sancho, and then Jaden Sancho will literally do all the work in this area. So what Busaker will do is just provide a little support. Probably Jaden Sancho is surrounded. Offer that offer that fallback support. And then when Sancho probably moves into a more clear area, then Busaker releases that ball to Jaden Sancho once again. So that is one of the things that United get in signing Jaden Sancho. You have a right back who is all for going forward, but you don't want to lose him. You don't want to keep him out of the starting lineup because he's one of your best defenders and one of your best assets when it comes to looking for the ball and lack of possession. So Jaden Sancho gives you that, and the other thing Jaden Sancho is gonna give you is the ability to score more goals from the wider areas. Now, if you look at Mason Greenwood, I think this is one of the things I really rate about Greenwood, and it pisses me with players like players like Saka, because Saka is so good to an extent. The last season he should have scored at least 10 goals in the Premier League, but his finishing is so awful to an extent that he didn't even score 6. That is it. So with Mason Greenwood, his ability to score goals creates a little bit more of a heaven around him, of a paradise around his name and his potential. So Jaden Sancho is even better than that. You're gonna have more goals because Sancho, whenever he gets into this area, he has a couple of options. He's gonna cow this ball. No, not really. No, we should be getting something, another tool, right? Something like this. So in this area, you expect Jaden Sancho to cow this ball, probably into, looking for the, the bottom corner, or probably into the near, just placing it onto the near area, or coming in just, in the middle of, of the penalty area and taking a straight shot. That is what you love with Jaden Sancho. He's gonna score you goals. You're gonna at least have 8 goals from a winger. If Rashford can give you 8, 10, 11, then Sancho can also give you 8, 10, 11. Those are 22 goals from your wingers. I think it really makes a lot of sense. The other thing is the ability to create chances, and this really helps Bruno Fernandes a lot, because with Manchester United, they've been so easy to spot that if Bruno Fernandes is out of the game, if you keep Bruno out of the game, if you keep Bruno Fernandes in prison, something like that, they are done for. They're done. So what it gives you, what Jaden Sancho gives you, because I think Marcus Rashford is more of a player who needs to be fed rather than feeding others, is now you have Paul Pogba, who creates chances from these areas. You have Bruno Fernandes, who creates chances from this area, and you also have Jaden Sancho, who creates many chances from the right wing. So you have more chances, more goals from Jaden Sancho, and of course the Manchester United fans will have their entertainment. That is my analysis, and that's what I think about Manchester United signing Jaden Sancho. What do you think about United signing Jaden Sancho? Do you think it was a massive move, like I do, or do you think it was just a waste of money? My name is Kosi. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.